And hi, whoops. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I want to welcome you to the Virtual College Exploration for all Ohio students. This is being hosted by the Ohio Association of College Admission Counseling and StriveScan. I want to go through a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. First, you are going to be able to ask questions. There is a Q&A button on your screen to type your questions for our presenter. Your microphone and your camera are off, so the panelists cannot see you or hear you. This is just one of many sessions that you can visit. You can go to the OACAC.org website to check out the full schedule. This evening is being recorded and it will be available in about a week. Again, at the same website, OACAC.org. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our presenters.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ann Knezetek, and I am a senior admission counselor at St. Louis University. We are excited that you all are joining us today, and I have a colleague who I'll go ahead and have her introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer Tanner. I am a regional admission counselor at SLU, and I get to work with Ann on a daily basis.
We are excited that you all are joining us here today. I work with all of the students from the Ohio area, so I'm excited to be chatting with you all a little bit more about St. Louis University. As we go along through the presentation, if you do have questions, please don't hesitate to ask them in the chat. Jennifer will be there to answer those questions, and if we have time at the end, we will get to any questions that you all have as well. So we will go ahead and get started. Okay. St. Louis University. This is a beautiful picture of our St. Louis-based campus. As an institution, making sure I didn't skip a slide there, as an institution, we are a Catholic Jesuit institution. Jesuit education is something that, if you're not familiar with it, when we think about Jesuit education, we really conceptualize education of the whole person. Jesuits are an order within the Catholic Church. St. Ignatius of Loyola founded in the mid-1500s. You will find in here, especially in Ohio, there are a couple of Jesuit universities and there are also Jesuit high schools. So we are a network not only in the United States, but also around the world. Jesuit education, like I touched on earlier, is something that we believe our students are educated holistically. So we talk about the whole person through the mind, the body, as well as the spirit. Thinking about that whole person education, it doesn't just happen within the four walls of a classroom space. It can happen in meeting a student that comes from a different background than yourself. It can be going and studying abroad in a very new experience, or your hands-on applied learning. So we really think about a whole person and how you come to campus as a whole person. We're going to support you as a whole person. In that Jesuit education, we talk about the mind, the body, as well as the spirit. Thinking about how you have to take care of yourself physically. So eating right and moving your body is an important part of your whole person when we think about how you show up to a classroom space. Jesuit education also has a commitment to service. I challenge my students to think about it as more than a day of volunteering, though, rather being in the community, building intentional relationships, or walking alongside. So on SLU's campus, you'll hear our students say men and women for and with others. Really that with part in terms of building those relationships, being intentional, and being in the community that we are a part of. Some really important facts for us as an institution. We, one, have two campuses. One of them is located in Madrid, Spain, and the other is in St. Louis, Missouri. When it comes to the St. Louis campus, depending upon where you are in Ohio, it's anywhere from 8.5, 9 hours to 4.5 or 5. course, different time zones. We are in Central Time Zone and you all are in Eastern. Always important consideration when calling home. If you're thinking about our Madrid campus, that is much farther away. I don't know that mileage, but you are going to be having an opportunity to either study on our St. Louis campus or on our Madrid campus. More of our students are studying on our St. Louis campus though, and so that undergraduate enrollment is about 8,000 undergrads. With our graduate school, we're about 12,500 in total. Being the first university west of the Mississippi, founded in 1818, we have a very rich history, and that identity as a Catholic Jesuit institution is an important layer to who we are. Something that's not always well known is that our students are coming from around the country and around the world. So 65% of our undergraduate students are outside of Missouri. Our students are coming from states like Missouri, also Illinois, Chicagoland area, we have quite a few students. Also California, Texas, Ohio, Wisconsin are the next 4 states after Missouri and Illinois that we get a majority of our students from. So that's something you're going to meet people that come from very different backgrounds than yourself, even potentially students that are coming from somewhere like the Dominican Republic or China. And through those interactions that you are going to have with people and individuals that come from different backgrounds than yourself, you are going to grow as a person. Other really important and great facts for us, in that 8,000 undergrads, we really classify that as medium-sized. So when we think about medium-sized, on one side, we do function more like a larger institution. So having 18 different Division I sports, we are in the Atlantic 10 Conference, which there is another school here in Ohio that does play that. So we do end up playing that school. We have over 178 different student organizations, and that 99% of our SLU faculty hold the highest terminal degrees in their field. So that larger school in terms of access to a couple of different things. But then on the flip side, we function a little bit more like a smaller school with a 9-to-1 student to faculty ratio and an average class size of a 26. So you're really getting the best of both worlds in that medium institution. I talk about how there's always someone new to meet, yet small enough that you won't get lost in a sea of people. So it's a great balance there with that 8,000 size undergraduate population. When it comes to a major choice, our students have so many different opportunities dependent upon what the best fit is for them. We have close to 90 undergraduate majors, and our majors do span across various disciplines. So if we think about all of those disciplines, we do have our Boise College of Health Sciences. Boise College of Health Sciences does include things like health sciences, majors like health sciences, physical therapy, occupational therapy, health information management, nutrition and dietetics. So really thinking about like the allied health area, you're going to find a majority of those majors within our Boise College of Health Sciences. We do have a School of Nursing, and it is a direct admit institution or direct admit School of Nursing, which means you can apply directly to that program and actually be reviewed, know from day one whether or not you are in the program. We do have our Parks College of Engineering, Aviation, and Technology. So if you think about engineering areas, it could be aerospace engineering or mechanical engineering, civil engineering. On the flight science side, we do have a flight science, so an aviation or a flight management. So either direction, you would be working with airplanes. We actually have our own fleet and a hangar that we have in a regional airport. If you are looking at our Richard A. Chaffetz School of Business, business ranges from international business to marketing to economics. There's so many different routes within the business world. We do have a School of Education. So if you're looking to become a teacher, that's a great fit for you. We have our College for Public Health and Social Justice, very unique college that has majors like public health, very important in our world nowadays, social work, criminology and criminal justice, biostatistics, so really unique combination. And then at our heart is our College of Arts and Sciences. College of Arts and Sciences is our largest college on our campus, and it's our original. It has anywhere from theater, studio art, psychology, sociology, neuroscience, biology, chemistry. There's so many different majors that fall within our College of Arts and Sciences. So you can see that's a very expansive opportunities at the undergraduate level. I will just make a small note that we have opportunities at our graduate level too. So we have a law school, a medical school, and multiple graduate programs sprinkled throughout our 7 colleges that I just named. What that means as an undergraduate is that you can come into the institution knowing what you want to do, which is great, but also that's okay if you don't know it either. Still deciding is a very viable option on SLU's campus. And I say still deciding, not undecided. I believe that you are still deciding, 16, 17, 18 years old. That's okay. It's an active process that we are going to help you through. So you're still deciding, not or stuck, still deciding. And because we have so many different majors, a still deciding option then lends itself really well if you are considering business and engineering. We have both options for you once you kind of go through that discernment process, which we will be there to support you through. When it comes to that academic support, I kind of started to touch on it a little bit, but I want to talk about a couple of different areas. Our students are supported first off with our academic advisor. An academic advisor is a professional staff member. They have at least a master's degree, and they are there to help you lay out your curriculum plan, but also they're really to help you build ownership into the fact that this is your education. They might give you specific classes to take, and then maybe you have the choice of the time or the faculty member, or they're like, okay, you have to take a 200 level literature course. Here are all of your options, you go choose. So there is a little bit more of that ownership into your education that they're going to be there to build you with. Academic advisors also know a lot about the university. So if you are struggling or need something, they are going to be a great first point of contact to help get you connected to various support services. Navigating a college can be really hard, and there can be a lot of layers and you're just not sure where to start. Always then think about starting, okay, academic advisor, I'm gonna start there, and they can help you along the pathway. Our faculty mentor is going to be there in your academic area. So your faculty mentor is specifically within your major and or minor too. So you might have, let's say you're a double major, you might have 2 faculty mentors. Faculty mentors are there really for your professional growth. So wanting to make sure that you are growing professionally, that could mean research opportunities or internship opportunities. Opportunities for professional conferences. They can maybe write you a letter of recommendation for a graduate school or a job, really there in your professional career and career goals. And then at a university level, we have multiple services to support you. So we kind of have them in a hub called our Student Success Center. In there, we have academic coaching, which is really geared towards first-year students in that transition to college. We have tutoring services, writing services, supplemental instruction. A lot of these are a peer-to-peer basis. So it's a job that a peer is holding that they have successfully completed that class, or they're a PhD student or a master's student in English and they're helping you with your writing. So we find that there's something a little unique with a peer-to-peer interaction that can be a little less intimidating sometimes than a faculty member. So lots of layers of support so that you are successful during your time on campus. What we think some of these support services gets to is a retention rate. So when you think about retention, I want you to think about that as persistence, or how students progress through their college experience. So how many students persist to that second year, or to that third year, to that fourth year, and then finally graduation rates. So this is our first year retention rate. So this is the amount of first year students that return or persist for that second year. This is where we sit in terms of us as an institution versus national averages for 4-year public institutions as well as 4-year private institutions. I am obviously not meeting you all where I would love to be meeting you. Whether you are with us here or watching it after, I would have loved to meet you in person. That's not an opportunity right now. We need to protect our campus and protect the world that we live in. So let's talk a little bit about how SLU has been doing that as a university. For us as an institution, we have started COVID and just like everyone else, March, we sent our students home and said, okay, we can't bring you back to campus. You have to move out. There was a lot of intentional planning when it came to the fall semester and how our students would return to campus. So we gave our students the option to either return in person or be an online learner because for some students, that is the better fit. So those courses were all options. And if for some reason something was happen and a student needs to pivot really quickly, great, that faculty member should be prepared to teach online learners as well. I personally teach a class and I'm always there for and ready to teach and do teach both online and in person at the same time. It's not always the easiest, but it can be done. Our classrooms were then set up to be socially distant, so our facilities went through and made sure that the classroom spaces were intentionally spaced out. They used markers to make sure here's where you can sit, here's where you can't. There are cleaning supplies in the classroom. So a lot of great precautions taken into account. The other important piece to note is that faculty also did have that option to either teach in person or to teach remotely. We also know that some of our faculty don't feel comfortable returning to campus because of their own health or family situation. So we did give that option to our faculty as well that went through a process with our human resources. So it is something that we do have in-person learners that happen to have an online class or two due to what the faculty needed in that time period. So that's what we're doing in terms of the university side and what that looks like. We have been successful thus far. So our students have remained on our campus. Those that have selected to come back have remained on our campus. We are sending all of our students home at the Thanksgiving break, and we'll be bringing them back to campus for the spring semester in late January. On the research side, because we are a research institution, we are studying an investigational treatment for COVID-19. It's a trial that is supported via the NIH, and it's in partnership with another university here in St. Louis. So a lot of different things that we are doing to be intentional about how we are protecting our campus community and all of our campus community. Let's talk a little bit about my favorite part, the city of St. Louis, with where we're located. SLU is located in the Midtown area of St. Louis, if you are on the St. Louis-based campus. The Madrid campus is about 10 minutes away from the city center in Madrid. When we look at our St. Louis campus, though, with where we are located, you know when you're on campus, you know when you're off campus. It is pretty apparent. We do have green space on SLU's campus. With where we're located in the city of St. Louis, in the Midtown area, that just means that there's a lot of great opportunities to go and do things. Midtown area is known as the Grand Center Arts District. So when you think about it, within a walkable distance is Fox Theater, which is where shows come through, Broadway shows, which is pictured in the middle. Powell Hall is where the St. Louis Symphony plays, so a lot of great things to do within a walkable distance. There are radio stations and museums in that walkable distance as well. Other things to do in the city of St. Louis, the list is pretty extensive. That is something where we're a park city. So one, we have the largest urban park in the United States. It's almost 2 times the size of Central Park in New York City. There's over 15 miles of hiking and biking trails, and there's a lot of great free things to do in Forest Park. There is a free zoo, a free art museum, a free history museum, and a free science center. And what college student doesn't love the word free? Other great things the city founders, one in particular, I want to point out for all of my Clevelanders out there, if you've ever been to the West Side Market, this is essentially what it's going to be. There's going to be like a big warehouse that has different food stations within it. I think it might be a little bit bigger, but we're excited for some of the newer items that are coming to the city of St. Louis as well. So there are a lot of things to do in the city. I find that my Ohio students do pretty well in St. Louis because there are some similarities to how the cities feel. St. Louis is a city of neighborhoods, and then we have from there an expansion out of the suburbs. So there's just a lot of activity and things going on, and there are some similar feels to it being a Midwest city that I find my Ohio students do pretty well within. You've just heard about a lot of awesome things, and you're probably wondering, how do I potentially become that Billiken? So we're going to walk you through big picture, some of those processes. Our first year application, we accept applications either through the common application or our website. We don't have a preference. Don't choose to do both, however. Choose one, don't duplicate your work. From there, we do need official transcripts. For any students who are international students, we do need English proficiency. And then we strongly recommend letters of recommendation, a resume, and an interview. I know an interview sounds intimidating, but I promise you it is not. It's a conversation with me. I just want to get to know you better, bring your application to life in person via Zoom is how these would be conducted at this current moment. So feel free, or phone call if that works better. Feel free to reach out. I'd love to schedule one and get to know you a little bit better. And then new to St. Louis University this year is that we have gone test optional. So as a test optional institution, what that means is that you can choose to send your test scores or you can choose not to. When it comes to test optional, we are test optional for admission decisions, we are test optional for scholarship decisions, and we are test optional for honors and scholars. So if you have not been able to take a test, or if you don't feel as though you've been taken the test as many times as you would like, you do not need to send a test score to us. Here are some honors and scholars programs that could be of interest to you as a student. I'm going to start with those that are on kind of this left-hand side. The honors program is the first one, and I will say the honors program can be paired with any of these other programs. Our honors director really addresses and describes it as intellectual curiosity. So diving deeper into what area of content you are passionate about. Honors program is 24 credit hours, 18 of which are inside of the classroom space, 6 of which are outside of the classroom space. You can potentially seek funding for your own project. So and it's a research type project. So there's a lot of great benefits with the honors program, being in a class that's an honors only section and having a different form of a conversation. Medical scholars is something that students do tend to know us for. Medical scholars is an opportunity to interview early. So interview at the end of your sophomore year for a seat in SLU's School of Medicine. Great opportunity if you know that medical school and SLU's medical school is a fit for you. Physician assistant scholars, pharmacy scholars, just like they sound, with the physician assistant program in our pharmacy that we have a relationship with in the local area in St. Louis. Those all have a December 1st deadline, which is December 1st of a senior year. So to be considered for those, you do need to apply by December 1st. February 1st, communication sciences disorders, law scholars have to apply by February 1st to be considered for those as well. Yes, you can apply to more than one of these. We typically don't find that students are applying to both law scholars and medical scholars. They've made a choice by then. I would say that more often than not, I see my students applying to the honors program and one of these other programs in addition. And then we have some that are invite only, our business and our accounting scholars programs. Our business scholars allows you to earn your undergraduate degree in 3 years. Our accounting is a 5-year master's program where you come out with enough hours to sit for your CPA. Scholarships. Automatically, our students will be considered for our merit scholarship, which is that range from $4,000 to $23,000, and that will come along some time period after your admission decision. And then we have 2 competitive scholarships you can apply towards. The first one is our presidential scholarship. We are looking for high achieving student leaders, emphasis on that leadership part. Leadership is looked and defined in multiple ways. So think about how you are a leader in your job, in your high school, in your church, in your religious organization, in your sport that you play, and that could be a potential fit for you. And then our Dr. King Scholarship, we are looking for students who are committed to social justice oriented, pushing forward Dr. King's mission and vision. This is something, though, that the students that might be interested in the Dr. King Scholarship also could be leaders in the social justice arena area for the Presidential Scholarship. So don't discount yourself on that one. They have different deadlines. So December 1st for Presidential or February 1st for our Dr. King. You're welcome to apply for both of them too. Talks a little bit about financing a SLU education. So these are some 2020-2021 rates in terms of tuition, room and board, and fees. And this is the average package in the middle. 98% of our first year students were receiving some form of assistance. We understand that financing a SLU education can be a difficult process, or just college education. So we put our best foot forward in that initial financial aid award. So process-wise, 1, students are considered for merit scholarship, which you should hear close to when you hear your admission decision. And then we have our 2 competitive scholarships you can apply for. And then we have need-based aid. We review the FAFSA, or the free application for federal student aid, to grant any additional need-based aid, whether that is federal funding, state funding, or institutional, that we need that FAFSA on file to consider you for anything else beyond merit scholarship. So what academic support gets our students to is graduation rates, or graduation day, cap and gown. You're being called that son or daughter of St. Louis University forever. So here are our 4-year graduation rates, as well as our 6-year graduation rates. And then once again, national averages for 4-year public institutions, as well as 4-year private institutions. It's not just, however, graduation day. It's the consideration of what are my next steps and how am I going to be supported through them. Our career support can start as early as that first semester on SLU's campus. So when it comes to that first semester, you can meet with a career counselor, and our career counselors can help you, whether that is big scale picture, you're just not sure what exactly you want to do in your future and you're kind of wavering, or nitty gritty, you need some resume review, you need to practice for an interview or for a presentation. They'll be there to help you throughout all of those items. 94% of our students were happily placed in a job, a graduate school, a professional school, or a year of service 6 months after graduation. So it is something that our students are well set up for that next step, whatever that next step may be. Our alumni network spans the world. So if you want to move back to Ohio, you want to move to a different state or even a different country, we can help connect you to a SLU alum that's been through that similar SLU experience that can help you transition into the next stage of your life. So I hope tonight you got to see and hear a little bit more about how St. Louis University could potentially be that fit for you. I thank you for joining and for watching this tonight. And I will take a quick peek to see if we have any questions. It doesn't look like, there, okay. Oh, that's a great question. So someone is asking about living on campus. Yes, you are required your first 2 years to live on campus because you are outside the local area. And our housing on campus looks and feels multiple ways. So for some of our students, they're in our community style bathroom, sharing a bathroom space with everyone else on their floor. For some of our other students, they are in a more suite style. So you might have your own bedroom or you're sharing a bedroom space with one other person. Just kind of depends upon the fit for you and what that looks like. So it is something though that I know, being from a farther distance, that you could potentially be like, ooh, what about junior and senior year? We do have upperclassmen apartment complexes, so you can continue to stay on campus all 4 years if that is the best thing for you. You're not required to live on campus your junior and senior year. However, you can do that if that's a fit for you. So just kind of depends. There's a lot of different options on SLU's campus when it comes to housing. SLU's website does a great job of actually outlining all of the different housing options throughout SLU's campus. Let's see, any other questions? Okay, it doesn't look like any more have come through. That's okay. For those of you that are watching the recording, please don't hesitate to reach out if you do need anything. I am always happy to help. You can find my information on SLU's website, so feel free to call me or email me if you do need anything. And I will go ahead and hand it back over to our facilitator.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Not sure why my picture is not up there, but anyways, thank you so much, everyone. I want to remind you that this is being recorded, and you can find all the recordings of the sessions at oacac.org. When you close this window, you will find a quick 4-question survey. We would really appreciate your feedback. Thank you again, and have a good evening.